Random thoughts. There is a prison that many African countries find themselves in, and is the prison of the official language. Now, why are many African countries in this prison? And does it even matter to talk about it or to try to get out of it? And why is it so difficult for many African countries to get out of this prison? Some African countries have figured out how to get out of this prison, and some have done it in very interesting ways. Now, most countries have official languages, and these are languages in which official communications is done and official documents are written in these languages. Most African countries have European languages as their official languages, and that's kind of maybe it's not ideal if you ask me, because Africa has thousands of indigenous languages, and some of these languages are spoken by up to hundreds of millions of people. So why not have indigenous languages as official languages? There is a reason why that is become very difficult. Nevertheless, there are few African countries that have indigenous languages as official languages. But even those ones, there's something else that is happening. You'll find that they have an indigenous language as an official language, but they also have a European language as an official languages. This is why I think is a prison. And the idea of this being a prison came about when I was watching some videos about South Sudan and the official language and development of the indigenous languages in South Sudan. Now, South Sudan is a very new country, and it has the opportunity of starting by embracing an indigenous language as an official language. But it has failed to do that. And I know why it has failed to do that. It's not because South Sudanese are not proud of their languages, the Dinka, the Nuer, and all the other languages. It's because it becomes, like in most African countries, it becomes a hot topic, a very controversial topic. If you are going to say, for example, the Dinka language becomes the official language of South Sudan, other people are going to be like, wait, that's not going to be okay with us because that's your language, it's not our language. So while everybody would love for maybe South Sudan to have an official language that is indigenous, the question is, which language are we going to make the official language? And the moment you mention one language out of the many languages, then of course everybody else is going to have a problem with it. And that's why it becomes a prison. And most African countries have been forced to just take the European language because it becomes the easier route to take. So that's why I think it's a prison. It's a prison because we are so attached to our languages, of course. And for many of us as Africans, we'll have a problem having the language of others imposed on us. That is interesting. Of course, that's weird even or awkward because we've accepted European languages. Why do we find it so hard to accept? Say if you are in Kenya, we accept Kikuyu as the official language, or we accept Luo as the official language. In South Sudan, why not accept Dinka or Nuer as the official language if you are going to accept a language from a different continent? But it's a prison because we can't do that. We are going to create a lot of problems for ourselves if we do that. So we know we might not want to accept the European language, but at the same time, we can't make our own indigenous languages to be official languages. Those are my random thoughts.